He worked tirelessly to strengthen the religion. Abdullah ibn Rawaha was among the 12 chiefs of the Ansar, back to Medina. Abdullah ibn Rawaha is described as being of medium height, with dark skin. Abdullah ibn Rawaha, the poet welcomed back to 60 men changed history. If you do not die in battle, you will die anyway. This powerful line expresses his determination and resolve, urging his soul to act with bravery. The choice presented here is between fighting with valor in battle or dying with honor, but not succumbing to fear or hesitation. The statement reflects his mentality of steadfastness and courage in the face of mortal danger. Physical description: he was born around 593 CE, 3 before Hijrah. In some sources, Abdullah ibn Rawaha is described as being of medium height, with dark skin. He was known for his great strength and bravery. His face was described as handsome and radiant, often reflecting a serious expression filled with confidence and faith in Allah. One of the first among the Ansar, when the Prophet Muhammad, peace be upon him, met secretly with a delegation from Medina near the outskirts of Mecca to pledge the first Bay'ah al-Aqaba. Abdullah ibn Rawaha was among the 12 chiefs of the Ansar, back to Medina. This pledge paved the way for the historic Hijrah, which marked the beginning of Islam's transformation into a flourishing religion and community. A year later, during the second Bay'ah al-Aqaba, in which 73 Ansar pledged their allegiance to the Prophet, peace be upon him, Ibn Rawaha was again one of the chosen leaders. His commitment to Islam deepened as the faith found its home in Medina. A defender of Islam and a watchful guardian after the Prophet and his companions settled in Medina, Abdullah ibn Rawaha stood out as one of the most active supporters of Islam. He worked tirelessly to strengthen the religion and counter the plots of Abdullah ibn Ubayy, the hypocrite who had been on the brink of being crowned king of Medina before the arrival of Islam. Ibn Rawaha's sharp intellect and insight foiled many of Ibn Ubayy's schemes, significantly weakening his influence. The poet of Islam, in a society where literacy was rare, Ibn Rawaha was a skilled writer and an eloquent poet. After embracing Islam, he dedicated his poetry to its service. His verses were not only a means of artistic expression, but also a powerful tool for conveying the message of Islam. The Prophet, peace be upon him, admired his poetry and often encouraged him to recite more. On one occasion, the Prophet asked, "How do you compose your poetry?" Ibn Rawaha replied, "I reflect on the matter, then speak." Pleased, the Prophet prayed for his steadfastness. During the Prophet's Umrah, Ibn Rawaha accompanied him around the Kaaba, reciting in his vibrant voice, "By Allah, if it weren't for Allah, we would not have been guided, nor given in charity, nor prayed." His inspiring words echoed among the Muslims, who repeated them with fervor. However, Ibn Rawaha was disheartened when the verse was revealed. And as for the poets, only the misguided follow them. Quran 26, verse 224. But his spirits lifted when the exception came. Except those who believe, do righteous deeds, remember Allah often, and defend themselves after they have been wronged. Quran 26, verse 227. If you're enjoying this episode, I kindly invite you to subscribe. Did you know that 95% of our viewers aren't subscribed? Your subscription would be most appreciated and helps us bring you more content like this. Thank you. A warrior's resolve. When Islam called for defense, Abdullah ibn Rawaha responded as a warrior. His battle cry was always the same: "O soul, if you do not die in battle, you will die anyway." The Battle of Mutah. A martyr's journey. In the expedition of Mutah, Abdullah ibn Rawaha was appointed as the third commander after Zayd ibn Haritha and Ja'far ibn Abi Talib. As the Muslim army prepared to leave Medina, Ibn Rawaha stood among them, expressing his one true desire: to fall as a martyr, achieving the ultimate honor. Upon reaching Mutah, the Muslims faced an overwhelming Roman force of 200,000 soldiers. The disparity in numbers was staggering, and some suggested sending a message to the Prophet for reinforcements or instructions. Ibn Rawaha, however, rose and addressed the troops with words that rekindled their faith. "We did not come here for wealth or spoils. We came to face them for the sake of this religion with which Allah has honored us. We fight not with numbers or weapons, but with this faith. So let us advance. It is either victory or martyrdom. The outnumbered Muslim forces rallied behind his courageous words, declaring, "By Allah, Ibn Rawaha speaks the truth. Leadership and sacrifice, the battle was fierce." Zayd ibn Haritha, the first commander, fell as a martyr. Ja'far ibn Abi Talib then took the banner and fought valiantly until he too met his end. Abdullah ibn Rawaha now held the banner, but hesitation briefly overtook him. Reflecting on his duty, he chastised himself, saying, "I have sworn to descend into battle willingly or unwillingly. O soul, if you do not die in battle, you will die anyway. This is the fate of death. You have already met it. If you follow their path, you will be rightly guided." With these words, he threw himself into the fight, attacking the Roman forces with unmatched zeal. Despite his small size and limited resources, he fought until the moment of martyrdom arrived and his soul ascended to its creator. He became martyr in year 629, and he was only 36 years old. The Prophet's vision back in Medina. The Prophet Muhammad, peace be upon him, was sitting with his companions when he suddenly fell silent. His face reflected profound emotion, and his eyes welled with tears. Looking at his companions, he said, "Zayd took the banner and fought until he was martyred. Then Ja'far took it and fought until he was martyred. Then Abdullah ibn Rawaha took it and fought until he was martyred." After a pause, the Prophet's face lit with a radiant smile as he added, "They have been raised to paradise." A legacy of honor, the Battle of Mutah remains a testament to the unshakable faith and courage of Abdullah ibn Rawaha and his companions. Their sacrifices are etched in the annals of history, a source of inspiration for all who strive in the path of truth. As the Prophet so beautifully said of them, they have been raised to paradise. The life of Abdullah ibn Rawaha teaches us the profound value of unwavering faith, courage, and dedication to a higher purpose. His poetic eloquence reminds us to use our talents in service of truth, while his leadership and sacrifice in the face of overwhelming odds inspire us to confront challenges with resilience and trust in Allah. Above all, his commitment to martyrdom for the sake of justice and faith shows that true success lies not in worldly gains, but in striving for eternal reward. We too can create a world where justice, fairness, and equality prevail. The path to a brighter future lies in our hands. Together, we can rebuild a just and vibrant world. Tawheed Foundation's 60 men changed history.